In this devotional, I'm going to share with you 3 thoughts from Proverbs chapter 19, verses 8 through 10, where we are going to find some good advice. Proverbs 19, verses 8 through 10 says, "Whoever gets sense loves his own soul. He who keeps understanding will discover good. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies will perish. It is not fitting for a fool to live in luxury, much less for a slave to rule over princes." Reading Proverbs is sometimes a little bit difficult because it isn't always done categorically. A lot of these different Proverbs seem to be talking about different subjects, but it's all excellent advice for anyone who would take the time to sit down and read it. With that in mind, here are 3 thoughts from Proverbs 19, verses 8 through 10. Thought number 1, think it through. This idea of having good sense is nice. It's a good idea. And everyone, I think, would like to have good sense. But how do you develop that? How do you create a scenario in which you have some good sense and are able to protect yourself in that way? I think the idea is that you think through the things that you're doing. That means be a little less impetuous when you're making your decisions. Because with good sense, you're able to consider not just what's going on there in the moment, but you can consider the long-term outcomes that might arise from the decision that you're making. So for the young person who might be reading through Proverbs, as it's intended for younger folks to read, think through the things that you're doing. Take the time to consider the implications of your decisions. And that way you can help to protect yourself from harm in the future. Thought number 2, tell the truth. Is this that much of a surprise that you should tell the truth? Because I would hope that most of us would know that telling the truth is a whole lot easier and just better than lying. The trouble with lies is that you have to keep up with them. The trouble with lies is that they inevitably get found out because lies just sort of have their way of getting discovered. The truth has a certain ring to it. People can tell a lot of the time whether or not the things you're saying are true. So, we who are believers, we who acknowledge that God exists and He has established standards for us, and who claims to be true, ought to honor Him by telling the truth in every circumstance. Thought number 3, learn your lessons. The proverb here says that it's unfitting for the slave to sit in the seat of the master. It's unfitting for the fool to sit in the throne of the ruler. That it's inappropriate for certain folks to take certain positions. And the reason for that is simple. You have to learn in order to gain significance. You have to have learned your lessons in order to have impact in a good way in the world. So if we are to aspire to positions of authority or significance, then it's vitally important for us to prepare appropriately for those positions and acknowledge that there are some seats of authority that might not be good for us, that we would be better off not taking. And because of that, it's important that we learn who we are and where we fit in the world. That doesn't mean that you can't change or you can't improve or you can't grow into different positions, but it does mean that you should consider carefully who you are, what you're able to do, and the levels of responsibility that you are able to meet. When you do that, you'll find that life works out much better for you. These 3 thoughts come from the assigned reading, Proverbs 19. If you'd like to read through the Bible with me, you can do so by joining the Facebook group Through the Bible, where we are reading the text of Scripture together.